Election victory in Spain. Pro-independence parties in Catalonia say they now have more momentum in their push for secession. Government leaders in Madrid say separation is illegal. Could Catalonia become independent, and what would the consequences be for the rest of Spain? This is Inside Story. Hello and welcome to the programme. I'm Jane Dutton. A coalition of separatists is claiming victory after Sunday's regional parliamentary election in the Catalonia region of Spain. The Together for Yes group won 62 out of the 135 seats and has formed an alliance with the smaller CUP party, which won 10 seats. They say the result boosts their chances of achieving their dream, an independent Catalonia. Jonah Hull reports from the Catalan capital, Barcelona.
It looks and feels as if nothing can stand in their way. Independence-hungry Catalans in full cry.
This is insane. Nothing like that has happened in Europe in the last year.
Catalonia decide the future, and the future is the only way is the independence.
Who will deliver it for them? A coalition of parties from the right and the left, likely to include the far left, with nothing in common whatsoever except the promise to pave the way for independence in 18 months' time.
Tenim molta feina per davant.
We have a lot of work to do, and we're not going to relax. We have a democratic mandate, and we know what that means. We know how we've won. We've won against the odds.
There may yet be trouble ahead on the road to independence, not least the full weight of the Spanish Constitutional Court deployed by the government to block any move towards independence, but also the fact that this incredibly precarious political coalition will in fact have to stand together and govern.
There is every possibility that in politics such an opportunistic arrangement will fracture and fall. In the meantime, battle lines will be drawn across a country just emerging from economic crisis that can ill afford to lose one of its most prosperous parts.
Well, I think Catalonia belongs to Spain, and now in the times that we are, I think there's no sense in trying to separate it from Spain. It would not bring anything good for us.
It's only the interest of the politician.
And secessionist movements elsewhere will be watching closely.
Quebec flag, Flemish flag, Catalan flag, Basque flag from Navarra, Basque Coruña, Wales, Scotland, Bretagne, Galicia, and we want Catalonia to be free. It's up to the Catalans to decide that, but we think they at least have the right to do so. And Spain so far has only said no, no, no.
What happens next may provoke a constitutional crisis, not just in Spain, but possibly in places far beyond. Jonah Hull, Al Jazeera, Barcelona.
The separatist alliance, Together for Yes, says the result is a victory even though they came short of winning an outright majority.
It's called democracy. We are living in an exceptional moment, and we are going to manage this situation according to the results of the polls, and that's clear. There is a clear agreement on a huge majority of the population, and basically it's been represented on the numbers, on the seats that has been elected. There is a wish and a will that we will have to go into that direction, and we will.
With Spain's general election only 3 months away, the result could spell trouble for the Prime Minister, Manuel Rajoy. His government has opposed any attempts to hold a referendum on the Catalonia question, vowing to block it in court. Rajoy says he's ready to listen, but not to everything.
Supporters of a breakaway never had the support of the law, and since yesterday, we also know that they don't have the support of the majority of Catalan society. I say today that the government of Spain will continue to make sure that the law, the equality and the rights and freedoms of all Spaniards are respected, and we will work on that purpose from this very moment, convinced that together we all win. We have a promising future. We can do great things, all united, and we must try to do it, because that is the desire of the great majority of Spaniards.
Let's bring in our guests right away. In Barcelona, Albert Royo, Secretary General of the Public Diplomacy Council of Catalonia. In London, Antonio Barroso, Senior Vice President at Tenio Intelligence. And also in Barcelona, Juan Mellon, Board Member for Societat Civil Catalana, who opposes the independence of Catalonia. Welcome, all three of you. So let me start off with you, Juan Mellon. You oppose independence for Catalonia. Is this a bad day for you?
Hello, good afternoon to everybody. Yes, first of all, we are very satisfied. Voter turnout in Catalonia regional election on Sunday has been at a record high of more than 77% of voting. The question about if Catalonia will be independent or not, our answer is that they cannot declare independence because they do not have the majority of votes. Pretending to go that way can only to deepen the political and social conflict and generate economic uncertainty.
Okay, but they've certainly spoken, haven't they? And they're not happy.
Catalans or some of Catalans. What do you mean about the happiness? And we are not happy because the economical situation. We are not happy because some other social scopes. Yes, you are right. But because we are not happy with some subjects of the society or on politics, it's not the way to solve the conflicts. I think that there are other ways that politics must to apply to solve the problems of the Catalan citizens.
Albert Royo, I suspect you have a very different reading of what went down at the ballot box.
Yes, hello, completely. In fact, today is a great day because of two reasons. First, yesterday, that was, a great example of democracy. More than 77% of Catalans turn out. This is historic. And secondly, because for the very first time, a democratic mandate has been given to the Catalan parliament in favor of independence. It's the first time that there is a clear majority of members of the Catalan parliament supporting independence. So this is a great day, of course.
How important are the numbers, though, considering you've got a slightly quirky voting system here, the fact that votes from rural areas count for more than those from urban areas? Does that negate the result in any way?
Listen, we are using the Spanish electoral law, the one which is implemented in regional elections all throughout Spain. This is a proportional system, not a perfect proportional system, but almost. And these are the rules that are set up, and we have to respect them.
Antonio Barroso, I believe you see this as not just a failure, but a triple failure. What are you talking about?
Well, I don't really believe that this is a triple failure. I think the pro-independence movement has done an extraordinarily good job during the campaign of mobilizing the pro-independence camp. I think the fact that they wanted the election to become plebiscitary, when you don't have a majority of votes, clearly there hasn't been a clear message in favor of independence. But to be honest, I think at this point we can discuss as much as we want about the results, how to interpret them. I think the key point is about the future and about what the pro-independence movement is going to do. I think you mentioned in the report that pro-independence, Together for the Yes and CUP have sealed a deal. That deal has not been sealed yet. There are big differences between both forces over the re-election of First Minister Artur Mas. And the key question, frankly, is whether they're going to be able to get over these differences over the coming days in order to push ahead with what they call the process to create an independent Catalan state.
And you're talking about the rise of the Catalan kingmaker now, the party known as the CUP, I suspect seen as one of the winners here.
Indeed, it's one of the winners, 10 seats, huge levels of support, at par with other left-wing parties such as Podemos. I think CUP is in a tough spot because on the one hand, I think if they end up supporting Artur Mas, they will antagonize their voter base, and this is a problem for them. On the other hand, I think they're under pressure not to block the pro-independence process. So surely they're going to be very tough negotiations ahead in the coming days in Catalonia.
What do you make of these negotiations, Albert?
Yes, I really think that there's going to be a negotiation between the two parties, and there's going to be an agreement. There is no other choice. I'm really sure this mandate will be implemented thanks to this agreement, which will be reached in the coming days.
Do you think it'll be an uneasy alliance, though, considering the differences?
It's true that the two lists are quite different, but on this issue, they are completely, in the same line. So I'm sure that there's going to be an agreement.
And Juan Melon, you were saying a little bit earlier that this doesn't give them a mandate in any way to break away from Spain. What's going to stop them from breaking away from Spain?
What will we stop? I don't really know. We are not political party. We are a non-profit association. It's a question of politics. I don't know. We don't know. Politics will have to modify the Spanish Constitution, which was approved in 1978 and supported by 90% of Catalan citizens. So let's see following days what will be.
Okay, let's pick up that constitutional issue that you've brought up. Is this a constitutional crisis for not only Spain but for Europe, Antonio Barroso?
Well, I don't think it's a constitutional crisis. I think it is a political crisis for sure. It's a political problem. I think what we are having right now, it's a standoff between the Catalan authorities and the Catalan pro-independence parties and the central government. And I agree that some kind of negotiation at the national level, that is at the Spanish level, is inevitable. I think some kind of negotiation over the funding system of autonomous communities that could meet some of the Catalan demands, as well as reform of the constitution that could recognize the singularity of the Catalan people within the state of Spain, I think is inevitable. The problem is that that negotiation probably won't take place until the December general election in Spain. It's very unlikely that we will see any progress in the upcoming months before the election.
Albert, you were nodding your head when I spoke about it being a constitutional crisis. How do you think the constitutional is going to play out over this period?
This is a constitutional crisis. It all started when the Spanish Constitutional Court decided to annul some of the most relevant aspects of our self-rule in 2010. That created a clash between the Constitution and the political and the democratic legitimacy of that Statute of Autonomy, which had been approved by the Parliament of Catalonia, the Parliament of Spain, and confirmed by the people of Catalonia. So we should start talking politics. I agree with Juan. And stop using just legal arguments. We need to start talking politics in order to find a way to find a common ground. This is what we've been advocating for 3 years. We were trying to convince Madrid to organize a proper referendum. They just said this is not possible and stop the discussion there. They never get into political issues. They just use legal arguments and negative messages and threats to the Catalan electorate. Really, I don't think that's the way to convince people here in Catalonia. They threaten us to expel us from the EU, that we'll suffer a commercial boycott, that our GDP will drop by 20%. All these were, a kind of a scaremongering campaign which will never convince people. And here we've seen the outcome of this election. With a clear majority of the pro-independence movement. Now it's time to talk politics, and now it's time to negotiate on the best way to implement this mandate. There is a democratic mandate. We'll honor this, and now we want to start negotiations with Madrid and with the international community on the best way to implement this mandate.
Okay, let's talk about why Catalonia is so important to the rest of Spain. The northeastern corner is one of Spain's wealthiest and highly industrialized regions. Its wealth comes from tourism on the Costa Brava, textiles, food production, and a growing services industry around the regional capital, Barcelona. Catalonia has 16% of the Spanish population, but accounts for 20% of its economic output. It's estimated Catalans pay nearly $14 billion more in taxes each year to Madrid than they get back, which has led to growing calls for independence. So, Juan, you can understand why the Catalans feel that possibly they're carrying the rest of the country.
look at this. Catalan citizens, we have suffering the same economical crisis situation than the rest of Spain. So today's situation we are today living, it was not initiated by the citizens. It was initiated by the political parties, mainly the nationalist parties. So there's no Catalan citizens that today are seeing that the economics will be better, or the situation of economics will be better than before if we are independent.
Albert, you were shaking your head there. What is it that you didn't agree with? What didn't you like about that answer?
Well, Mr. Mayen, he said that was an invention of the nationalist parties. This is not reality. This is not the reality. He knows very well that it all started with that constitutional court ruling against the Catalan self-rule, and that that provoked the first massive demonstration on the streets of Barcelona with 1 million people, with a clear slogan: "We are a nation, we decide." So the relationship between Spain and Catalonia will not be decided by 12 judges in a closed room. And then the aggressive stance of the People's Party government in Madrid against Catalonia's self-rule, language and culture, that triggered even a bigger wave of demonstrations here in Catalonia. In a country of 7 million people, every year we have seen massive marches with 1 or 2 million people, and right now already claiming for independence. When a politician sees that, a politician realizes that he has to react. And that's what President Mas did. We need to count how many people are for this and how many are against, which is not conceivable, and I can really hardly understand is why the Spanish government and the main political parties in Spain do not understand that we need to channel this massive movement through the institutions, and that the best way to do that is through a ballot box. We need to let people express themselves. So I cannot understand really why are they so allergic to democracy?
Yeah, Antonio, we haven't really established where this gets the pro-independence parties. What is it that they can really do with this result? Because I can't imagine it gives them the mandate on the international scale to break away, the support from the international community.
Well, I think that question has already been answered by CUP, the small extreme left party, which has said that they don't have a mandate to do a unilateral declaration of independence. I think, again, the key question remains: what are the next steps if CUP and Together for the Yes are able to get over the differences, and what they mean by establishing state-like structures? My hunch is that we're going to see, again, a standoff between the Catalan authorities and the central government, and that eventually this can only be resolved when, after the general election, both players sit down at the table and negotiate a way out of this. Let me also say that I think, this is part of a larger political crisis in Spain. I think there is a lot of disaffection towards the political establishment, and one of the ways this political disaffection has manifested in Catalonia has been in favor of the independence movement, and that's why I agree with Mr. Serra. The level of mobilization of the pro-independence movement is impressive, but so is as well the number of voters that yesterday actually didn't vote in favor of independence. So the only way out of this is a negotiated solution between the Catalan authorities and the central government, and we will only see that, I repeat, after the general election in December.
And I should imagine that this rivalry can only be good for the football teams, FC Barcelona and Real Madrid, but economically, it's having a devastating effect on the country, isn't it?
Well, I mean, we need to, from the point of view of investor sentiment, I think, I talk to investors every day. One thing that investors don't like is uncertainty, right? So any political uncertainty derived from this kind of standoff is not good for the Spanish and for the Catalan economy. That being said, I think investors so far have remained wary of considering this as a negative event. I think they are much more worried about the potential political instability that might follow the elections, the general elections in December. But again, any kind of uncertainty derived from politics and from the standoff between a region and the central government is potentially negative for the economy of the country and of the region, of course.
Juan, what incentives can Rajoy now give to those seeking independence in Catalan? I mean, when it comes to culture, dealing with the language, what sort of tax incentives, for example, could he have up his sleeve?
Yes, again, I cannot give you an answer about politics. We don't know what will be the next steps of the Rajoy's government. Really, what we would like is to say that and to explain what the situation today, the day after this election, what happens now, and the day after of the regional elections. In the only thing that we say is that the separatist coalition yesterday lost the absolute majority, which until now had together the Nationalist Ruling Party and the Republican Left of Catalonia in the regional parliament. With this result, the coalition will have many difficulties to invest its candidate as president of the regional government, the president who will have to negotiate with the Madrid government. Most of the seats of independent parties do not reflect the social majority of Catalonia, and does not guarantee parliamentary stability, and they will not able to negotiate with the central government.
Albert, what sort of message do you think this is for Europe? Should Europe now be looking at more flexible federal systems and more sort of demolition of devolved power structures?
Well, I really think that Europe should keep an eye on what is happening here in Catalonia. This is a democratic movement, a very peaceful movement. Not a single window has been broken in these 5 years of massive demonstrations. But we need to keep committed and engaged to the basic democratic principles in Europe. I would say that's a key issue. So as long as there seems to be, just an ignorance of what is happening here in Catalonia, and Madrid is not reacting to this majority, I really think that Europe has to keep an eye on this. And this is, I would say, this is good news that we saw today that the Council of Europe, the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, stated that Catalan voters should be respected and that we need dialogue. And that's exactly what we are advocating for. We need dialogue. So, as you can see, when you're asking Mr. Mellon, there seems to be no alternative at all. This is between status quo or independence. There is nothing.
Sorry, let me just quickly throw a last question very quickly to Antonio. I mean, is the yes camp looking towards an all-out battle with the EU? Because if Catalan goes, you wonder what's next.
I mean, I think one of the main questions here regarding secessionist movements is that Scotland has provided the standard for how the secession of a region from a country should happen. There is no unilateral steps. Everything should be decided in a referendum and so on, if the central government has the willingness to negotiate. So that basically sets a straight jacket to any movement that wants to become independent. Looking forward, I think that Europe is going to look at this as a purely internal question. Sure. I think probably they will, everybody wants dialogue. I think the best solution, as I mentioned before, is to negotiate some kind of deal. But if I have to take a bet, I will say that Europe is going to stay, the European Union is going to stay out of this and is going to treat it as a purely internal question in the coming weeks and months.
And let's leave it there, gentlemen. Good to get your thoughts on this topic. Albert Royo, Antonio Barroso, and Juan Mellon. And thank you for watching. You can leave your comments via the program page on our website at aljazeera.com. You can also post your views on facebook.com/AJ Inside Story, or tweet us at AJ Inside Story, or at Jane Dutton. From me, Jane Dutton, the rest of the team, Bye for now.